Top 10 animated TV shows which are on a different level. The advancement of activity on TV has been exciting to see throughout the most recent quite a while, as makers utilize the medium's limitless potential to investigate what is conceivable on a visual level, yet on a narrating level. Today in our video, we will be discussing the top 10 animated TV shows which are on a different level. Number 10, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. You may have grown up with My Little Pony, otherwise known as My Pretty Pony, as the toys were originally presented by Hasbro in 1981, yet it was illustrator Lauren Faust's Powerpuff Girls that encouraged home for imaginary friends, who brought to mind beguile a particular visual style to the idea of mystical talking ponies and made a mainstream society wonder simultaneously. With no contradiction, this cunning interpretation of the occupants of Equestria enchanted crowds of any age with its debut, and keeping in mind that Faust left the show after season 2, it keeps on discovering a group of people, a discovery family, just as in the Equestria Girls series of the movies. Watch only a bit of a bit, and you'll accept that friendship is magic. Number 9, King of the Hill, Pamela Adlon voices Bobby Hill. Believe it or not, Pamela Adlon, the supporting scene stealer from Californication, co-star, essayist, and maker on Louis, and the maker of Star, author, chief maker, and general visionary behind Better Things, voiced Bobby Hill on Head Honcho for 258 scenes. And that's crazy. It's likewise not an astonishment and not confidential. In any case, it bears continuing thinking about how much ability was engaged with the long-running Fox satire. Mike Judge is a legend unto himself. However, through the picket wall of Arlen, he extrolled everybody from co-maker Greg Daniels, Wyatt Connick, to Toby Huss and Tom Petty. Also, Dax Shepard, Justin Long, Amy Adams, Carl Rayner, Reese Witherspoon, Laura Dern, Dennis Hopper, and Matthew Cracking McConaughey. Also in this polarizing times, Hank Hill might stay one of the most exact and complex depictions on TV of a red state family man. Top Dog is a humble community treat made by individuals who love unassuming communities. Number 8, Justice League. If this rundown was about 90s visified series, Batman the Animated Series may be in the central opening. However, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited was a heavenly interpretation of superheroes from a similar inventive group, keeping a significant part of the first voice ability from the series which went before it. Kevin Conroy, who was the best entertainer to play Batman at any point. We will meet you in the parking lot at 5 if you dissent and interpreting the DC superhuman universe that the family accommodating without forfeiting any development. Rewatching old Justice League scene is ideal for adapting to Zack Snyder's bleak interpretation of these dearest characters. Number 7, Clerks. Just 6 scenes of this variation were at any point made, yet everyone feels like a gift. Leader created by David Mandel, you know him, he currently runs Veep, Kevin Smith, and Scott Moiser. ABC immediately dropped the series after broadcasting 2 scenes, yet there was some historical stuff in the blend. The primary scene in episode 2 and the creation request circulated was a cut show. Alec Baldwin played a malicious wealthy person, not once and for all. Furthermore, there were various essentially extraordinary minutes. This series is remarkable for highlighting maybe the worst Holocaust bit ever. A joke run custom for any disappointed film fan, and a scene that finished with a succession so staggering and odd, we're contemplating it almost 20 years after the fact. Who is driving? Wow, Bear is driving? How could that be? Number 6, Star Wars The Clone Wars, 2003. The best Star Wars film nobody discusses. And the experiences of IndieWire's own Eric Kahn started life as a serialized story on Cartoon Network. Genny Tarvolsky, particularly Mark's style combined with character-centered narrating, carried an interesting lavishness to the Star Wars universe, while actually at this point don't authorize the part of Star Wars group, following the extraordinary cleanness of the expanded universe. Creatively, it's undeniably more refreshing than Star Wars Verified series that succeed however, to be reasonable. Both Clone Wars and Descendants are both very agreeable. The prequels might have been awesome if it implied we additionally got this. Number 5, SpongeBob SquarePants. Between an ocean, an unexpected ironic animated series, SpongeBob SquarePants stands apart as spotless and square as a wipe. Its hero's heartlessly hopeful viewpoint strolls that almost negligible difference between immaturity ridiculous and miserably geeky. Yet eventually, he's a legend whose uprightness is in his appeal, while the series outfitted towards the adolescent preferences, its daffy plots and innovative environments are simply weird and cheerful, enough to speak to grown-ups. It's no mishap that the series has constructed an establishment domain and has gone as far as 20 years. SpongeBob is a fundamental series about building a universe of guiltlessness and energy. Number 4. Gravity Falls, a preparation group for youngsters to figure out how to appreciate this peculiar, the frightful, and the unexplained. Gravity Falls shares unmistakable DNA with the X-Files, Lost, and Twin Peaks, and even provides a dazzling Black Lodge reference. As presented previously, it's a sharp reason that includes a tragically missing diary, frightening beasts, continuous secrets, and even codes towards the finish of each scene. The show focuses on 12-year-old twins Dipper and Maple Pines on their late spring excursions, visiting their great uncle Stan Pines, also known as Gurkle Stan, in this woodsy and distant town of Gravity Falls, Roadkill Country, Oregon, where crackpots have the run of the spots and somewhat contorted occasions occur. While the series' activity and energy make it new and refreshing, its children's sleuthing storyline gives it a demeanor of wistfulness and power. Albeit, the series just endured 2 striking seasons, its audacious heritage lives on. Number 3. Samurai Jack. Nothing on TV at any point resembled Samurai Jack. Nothing at any point will happen once more. Maybe Genny Tarkovsky most famous work, the rich creative mind of time-blowing activity series about a fighter flung through time after endeavoring to overcome an evil wizard, has had us dazzled for longer than 10 years. In any event, during those 14 years, between Unacceptable Season 4 and the last definitive Season 5, which just wrapped up this month, true to life and frightful, this series reached a delightful, if grievous, resolution finally, one that people in the future will unquestionably savor. Number 2. Phineas and Ferb. Hardly things in the movement world are just about brilliant as watching Phineas and Ferb play with this grounded equation from one scene to another, with the dueling twins storylines of growing Fistarusso, stepbrothers, and wrongdoing battling exploits of their pet platypus. And show is essentially a Ricochet palace in TV show structure, one of the manners in which it stays an agreeable watch for youngsters and guardians in the same household. The show is additionally a compressed lesson in visual storytelling. The show did theme scenes around different Disney-claimed properties, yet at heart, it's a way for youngsters to comprehend the fundamentals of parody. Everything from the moving Doofenshmirtz organization to Harry's distracted response shots is straight out of the same parody playbook that Chaplin and Keaton were utilizing right around 100 years prior to Phineas and Ferb. They wasted no time by refreshing an already solved problem. Before we get into our top picks, here are a few honorable mentions. The Boondocks. The Wi-Fi transformations of Aaron McGruger's historic and unquestionably funny cartoon pulled in something reasonable of debate, to particularly over its utilization of the N-word and depiction of dark social symbols like Martin Luther King Jr. It additionally, outstandingly, finished without McGruger's inclusion, prompting a dull 4th last season. But there's such a great amount to appreciate the series, from its anime and live-in-person plan to Regina King's heavenly voice function as both the Freeman siblings, who give a valiant effort to battle the forces as the new inhabitants of a generally white-ruled town. The Boondocks took a lot of large swings worth respecting, and in the domain of liveliness, address in extremely unheard perspectives. Number 1. Adventure Time. More than the fantastical undertakings of a kid named Finn and his talking canine Jake in the land of Ooh, Adventure Time is a strange dance that is all reckless in 1 second and sages the following. By all accounts, one can partake in the animation as a progression of dangerous or odd endeavors, complete with sword and divination. It addresses its Dungeon and Dragon roots. The misrepresents the more extravagant excursions that watchers go on with Vin and entirely his companions, which has come about of some great world building and cautiously created character work, cherished by all ages, pundits, and surprisingly Emmys. This momentous series that we've been fortunate enough to access through the otherworldly method of motivated innovativeness, even though that the show is finding some conclusion, we realize that the response to the inquiry, what time is it, will consistently be Adventure Time. So that's all for today's video. I hope you guys found this video interesting and useful. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay tuned.